Call the meeting to order. Everyone please rise for the flag salute.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend the meeting of public bodies at which any business affecting their interests is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the provisions of this act, the Cedar Grove Board of Education has caused notice of this meeting to be advertised by having the date, time, and place thereof posted on bulletin boards in the district, published and/or transmitted to the Verona, Cedar Grove Times newspaper, and Star Ledger newspapers, filed with the township clerk, and posted on the district's website. May I have roll call, please?
Mrs. Burke? Here. Mrs. Dye?
Here.
Mrs. Marinelli?
Here.
And Mr. Sakala?
Here. The meeting is now open to the public for comment for items that are on the agenda. Seeing none, I'll close that portion of the meeting. Good evening, everybody. Welcome back.
Good evening.
Hope everyone had a great spring break. Do we have any committee reports this evening?
I attended the middle school FSA meeting on Monday night, and Mr. DeCourt thanked the FSA again for the Chromebooks and cart that was donated, and they're looking to add a fourth cart so that each grade has their own, and they've used them not only for park, but really actively in the classrooms, and it's really made a big difference. Talked about the park schedule that got emailed out today for the middle school. The spring concert will be April 30th at Cedar Grove High School at 7 p.m. The middle school musical, The Little Mermaid, will be May 8th and 9th at the middle school. On May 14th, they're going to hold a 5th grade health and wellness fair, and they will be having yoga, team building, and health and nutrition information, and I'm pretty sure a luncheon for the 5th graders. They thank the Junior Women's Club, who donated $500, which they will be buying a new projector screen. And also Mr. DeCourt also touched on MAP testing. They had the nomination committee for a new board was there. And so at this point, the positions will be filled by Maria Adebato as president, Kim Sakala as vice president, Stephanie Mazinski as treasurer, Kelly Tenza as corresponding secretary, and Judy Rogers as recording secretary. And they made note that Amy Neely is leaving because she is graduating out of the middle school, and she will only have a high schooler at this point. And so they're all excited to continue on and have Judy be there with them. And I think the only other thing, there may be a fifth and sixth grade social this
There is not.
Friday. Oh, it's
It was
been canceled because they didn't have enough
Chaperones.
chaperones.
Yeah,
that
the
was
notice
my
went
only-
today.
Okay, great. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Any other committee reports?
Nope.
Okay. Well, we have a board presentation this evening. This is our budget presentation on curriculum and instruction, co-curricular activities and buildings, and grounds and capital outlay. Mr. Featherman? Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, folks at home, and those of you gracious enough to join us this evening. It's nice to see you. For those of you in the back. So, developing the budget for next year and the plan to present the budget, Renee and I thought we'd tell a story about where we've been this year and the expenses for next year, and then we can talk briefly about 2016 and beyond. So something a little different this year. So let's get on with the show. What I'd first like to point out is the overall budget. Here's the big picture for next year. Now, as you recall, we've already talked about special education as well as other student support services, specifically technology. What we'll talk about today, our focus, will be those that are asterisked: regular education, co-curricular and athletics,
And lastly, buildings, grounds, and capital outlay. But this slide here gives you an idea of the big picture. Now keep in mind, on our April 28th budget hearing, we'll go into greater detail in all of these areas. So we'll sort of be far more detailed than what you see here now. So what have we done district-wide thus far this year? Well, as you all know, you've been coming to board meetings, keeping score, your children are attending school. We've upgraded our language arts curriculum. We've talked lots about good habits, great readers, and all the things, all the shifts in instructional practices that come along with that. It's been well received. Certainly a work in progress, but we're very proud of the work we've done thus far. Our focus clearly, now as never before, has been on professional development, and moving forward it will be the same. I mean, you can't simply buy literacy series and math series and adopt next generation science standards and not focus on best practices and implementation with your teachers. So professional development will continue to be critical as we move forward. We've partnered with William Patterson University. This program is going exceedingly well. It's hosted at South End, but we involve the North End folks as well. It's an after-school literacy program where we work with pre-service teachers, young adults, come in and work with some of our young learners on literacy strategies. It's going very well. From September to now, we've conducted numerous parent academies. I've seen you there. We've discussed salient topics from Common Core, Daily 5 Cafe instructional shifts going on at North End and South End, standards-based report cards. I know Mrs. DiMatteo and Ms. Dyer have spent a number of hours speaking to the community about those shifts in the report carding process. We had a parent academy on HIB, and who can forget the infamous Park town meeting. So we're out there, and we're happy to be out there. It's been great discussing these important topics with you. We've also revised and expanded the Gifted and Talented program. Now, we talked about that last summer and initiated that for this school year. So lots of things for sure. But we're not done yet. What else have we done this year? How about courses and/or programs added at the high school? There have been quite a few, substantial ones too. AP Stats, our virtual high school, a new business course. We've added Boys and Girls Lacrosse, as well as a Red Cross Club. So clearly it's not just the education of the child in terms of X's and O's, but the social well-being also. What about our middle school? We've done some significant things there as well this year. STAR program has been met with great success. Again, these are regular ed programs, programs that are geared specifically towards regular education students. So there are plenty of other programs that we've initiated under special ed or other areas, but these are regular ed programs. Chess clubs, study hall assignments. We've also started a Homework Alliance Ambassadors program where the National Junior Honor Society students at the middle school work with their peers on homework. It's been very well received. So where are we going for 2015-16? The budget slide that you saw at the beginning, where are those numbers going? This is by no means a detailed look at that, but again, these are some of the highlights. We are purchasing a new math series. We've decided on Go Math. And when I say we've decided, we've had an extensive review process. We've brought in several vendors of math series. We've had a team of administrators and teachers that have spent a lot of time evaluating what's out there, evaluating the professional development supports for those programs. And we've decided on Go Math. We're excited, and we're eager to get that started this spring. That's now. Of course, along with that, as I had said before, is professional development. I can't overstate the importance of that. So in 15-16, that will be a large part of our focus. Along with that as well, just as this year we're spending time, lots of time writing curricula in language arts, this summer we will focus on mathematics K-5. We've added a math teacher at our middle school. Among other things, it's helped us create a double block of math for all fifth grade teachers. That hasn't been the case, and we'll talk a bit more about that down the road. One of the effects of adopting the new math series in grade 5 at the middle school specifically is we had to make modifications to our cycle program. So in doing so, rather than have Spanish offered as it's been to our 5th graders, Spanish will become a cycle class for our 5th grade students. So yes, there will be a slightly less number of hours of Spanish instruction for 5th graders, but we weighed that against eliminating it for 5th graders altogether, and that simply was not an option. So certainly the emphasis is on math and language arts, but we also want to maintain the integrity of our world language Spanish program from North End, South End through into the high school, because as you'll see, we're developing our language arts, our world language program at the high school. So we want to keep those bridges intact. We're also looking to make our part-time music teacher full-time. Cheers, hooray, yes. She's excited, we're excited, the kids are excited. It's a good thing. And curriculum writing, all kinds of curriculum writing. Again, the focus is professional development and the lifeblood of our schools, the curricula. What else? At the high school, we're looking to add a 0-period SAT prep class for juniors and seniors. Again, that'll be strategically located during January through May, leading up to that really the biggest SAT date in May that most of our juniors sit for. So we'll get them ready for that. That'll be 0-period before the actual start of the school day. We will offer the PSAT, not only offer it, but proctor, administer it to all of our 10th and 11th graders next year in school. We've expanded our science program for next year. We've added AP Environmental Science. STEM education is a priority of mine, certainly a priority of the board, as well as focusing on our college and career readiness in general. And so the more young people we have engaging in the rigors of college work, the better. I mentioned before the expansion of our world language program, specifically in Spanish first. We're offering 2 new courses, an Intro to Spanish and Spanish 2 Honors. Also related to world language, we're looking to expand our Italian program. That's our plan for next year. We are adding an Italian teacher. New course offerings for next year will include Italian 3 and 4 Honors. And I also mentioned for 16-17 we will have AP Italian in place. Again, we're looking to really expose more of our kids to the rigors of life after high school. And we're expanding the virtual high school program. This year we adopted it for the first time. We had a handful of students that took courses online in addition to their regular and rigorous school day. And so we're looking to invite more of our folks to explore art history or criminology or any number of hundreds of other programs that are available through virtual high school. Come and get it. We have it. We're also looking to purchase Performance Matters software, which will allow us to manage student assessment data. Yes, we're assessing a lot. We're assessing student progress every day, formatively and summatively, in addition to the standardized tests that you've all heard about, PARCC, the NJ Ask in Science, the EOY in Biology, Algebra, InView, MAP. So we need a system, our teachers, our administrators need a system of managing all of that information, side by side with individual course rosters. How'd you do on Tuesday's quiz? That data will be aligned, will be sitting right next to how they did on the MAP assessment, perhaps the InView, the PARCC test. These things that will guide us in making placement decisions eventually and inform instruction. We're excited. How about co-curricular and athletic additions for next year? We're adding a girls' freshman volleyball program. We have an increased number of students participating in the co-op with Passaic Valley through our ice hockey program. That costs money. We're happy to spend it. We have a healthy group of students of student athletes who get a lot out of this program. And we're looking to expand anyway, the ESY program, the extended school year at the middle school, to include our integrated preschool regular ed students. So what has our leadership team been doing regarding data analysis and our general focus as it relates to regular education spending? Well, lots of good things. We talk about them here all the time, and publicly as well, elsewhere. Promoting language arts, promoting mathematics. We've talked, we've demonstrated. Hopefully you're seeing your children engaging in these exciting topics. We've certainly had no lack of conversation about the Common Core and the emphasis on the instructional shifts to accommodate it. The work is ongoing, but it's been substantial to now. We're partnering with our SIP panels, our school improvement panels, that the DOE requires us to maintain in the district to enhance the effectiveness of our staff evaluation program. Every district is required to maintain a school improvement panel made up of administrators and teachers, and this panel's job is to make sure that the teacher evaluation process is implemented with fidelity. And we have a very nice working relationship with this group amongst myself and our administrative teams. The Technology Committee is one of the goals that I had for this year. I think we've done quite well. We've accomplished all of the goals and then some for this year that we set out early on. Certainly promoting the awareness amongst our staff. We've had no less than 3 Technology Academy meetings throughout the year in each building where staff have given their time after school for an hour or 2 to learn all about Google Apps for education and all that goes with that. And it's had a meaningful impact on how they manage instruction, how they share documents. It's been great. We've certainly focused on park readiness. It's taken up a lot of our time and resources, and I'm happy to report we came out of it fantastic. We were proactive in our approach, starting last year, in terms of bandwidth, the number of machines. Our kids did great, our teachers did great. It's not by accident. And we've rewritten our acceptable use policies for both students and staff. We'll be having those here for board consideration at our next meeting. They're written, they're done. Our next technology meeting is next week, so we'll put the finishing touches for the public to see those. Good stuff. How about facilities? Well, haven't mentioned the referendum yet, Mike. Come on now. Well, lots of work to be done beginning next school year, so I thought I'd throw that in there, just as an aside. We have an ambitious gymnasium project. We had some concerns about the safety of our bleachers and the equipment that are in the gymnasium, so we're going to do something about it. We've been fiscally responsible. We've saved money for a rainy day, so to speak, in our capital reserve fund for just these very things. And so we're not shy about saying it's a big ticket item, but it's a necessary item, and we're going to address it because that's what we do around here. We try to provide the best. In terms of facilities, we're also the host site throughout the year for the YMCA. And we'll be hosting, for the first time, their Summer Sparks program, expanded program, and our music camp. So that'll be here as well. It'll be an action-packed place over the summer. So let's get back to the first slide for just for a moment, remind you of what we're really here to talk about, and that's the budget. In particular, those 3 areas: regular instruction, curricular athletics, buildings, grounds, and capital outlay. Let's take a closer look at some of the highlights. In terms of instructional program, again, this is regular education only. There's lots of other things we've talked about and have plans for, but regular ed now. Here are some of the highlights, and here are some of the dollars that coordinate with those highlights. All good things, folks. Many of these things I've mentioned to you already on previous slides. We're excited. Our teachers are eager to keep the ball rolling. Some more instructional highlights. Again, I'm mentioning the SAT course, our interest in promoting and continuing the parent academies that we've got going district-wide. I don't have specific topics listed there. Sort of want to keep an open mind. It might be HIB, it might be something new. I mean, this past year we've had some ad hoc types of programs come to the middle school, for instance, and they've been wonderful. They've been funded by the Municipal Alliance, the APTs and FSAs, and we'll lend some money to that as well. They're worthwhile programs. It enriches our curriculum. We like it. And certainly the Pathways program, we use Title I monies for that, North End, South End, and the middle school. We can never get enough literacy support. Let's talk a little bit about the funding through capital reserve of that gymnasium project. Yes, big ticket item, but it's necessary. You know, you've got original equipment there, it's dangerous, and I mean, it's safe, it's inspected every year. Please don't misunderstand me. It's inspected every year and recertified. But we want to go from good to great. And oftentimes, there's a price tag on that. So we've talked a bit about this before. Here are the generalities of it. Let's look a little bit more into regular instructional programming and some of the totals. I mean, they speak for themselves. You know, you just get an idea of what percent of our overall budget goes to these particular areas. Clearly, regular program instruction is significant. When you're looking at a $29 million budget, you know, 28.5% goes towards that, as it should. Can't diminish the importance of our ESL and basic skills programming, and certainly the equipment that supports all of that. Let's talk a little bit about buildings, grounds, and capital outlay. It's a big operation, right? We have not 4, but 5 buildings that we manage in the district, including LRP, and it costs money to do that. Many of us are homeowners. Certainly we live somewhere. We have to maintain our cars and our houses, and it costs lots of money to do that. And we're in good hands under our business administrator. She has an excellent fiscal sense for not only where we are today, but where we need to be tomorrow. So I'm confident that working with her and the board, we're planning for tomorrow's needs. Now, somewhere in there, Renee, I think there's some revenue being generated. Is there some good news on that slide? Can I throw that out there? There's some interest being generated on some
Interest on the capital reserve.
heavens. See, it's not all being subtracted, folks. I was just making sure you're paying attention. There's some stuff coming back to you there. It's not a bad thing. And yeah, we'll talk more about this at our budget hearing next time. I seem to have... What happened here? I'm sorry. I seem to have...
It happens every time I touch this thing, so why would she tonight be any different, right? Computer was the only thing I was saying. I don't want to think.
We'll go back now. Here we go. Now it's working. Thank you. We saw the slide here. We're almost finished, folks. A couple more slides. Just wanted to highlight just briefly the athletics component of the budget, as well as co-curriculars. Again, I think every good school district emphasizes the balance between mind, body, and spirit. And clearly, you can't run a good program without athletics and co-curriculars. So there's a substantial chunk of the budget that goes towards that, mostly in the form of stipends and salaries, but that's the nature of the beast. Let's talk just briefly in closing about 2016 and beyond, just briefly. My suggestion moving forward, after we get through next year, again, we've got some major projects in terms of the referendum getting off the ground and some major capacity issues in terms of rewriting ELA and math and the new series and the professional development. So moving forward after next school year, I think it's time that the board and I sit down and talk about a 5-year strategic plan and sort of map that out. And in doing so, we're going to be reaching out to you folks at home, and we'll probably have some kind of mediator come in and guide us through the next 5 years of where we all see us going. I'm putting that forward as a real possible good idea. The next generation science standards, on the heels of rewriting language arts and mathematics, the NGSSs, the emphasis on STEM education is upon us. A large consortium of 41 states, similar to the Common Core, have rewritten the science standards. We hope they're implemented with less fanfare, less controversy, but nonetheless, it is a tsunami coming our way. I can assure you that Mrs. Barboza, our science coordinator, is on top of it. Our science teachers district-wide have already begun their meetings to evaluate possible programs as well as instructional materials. So it's coming. We'll be ready. But it's a big deal. Beyond language arts, mathematics, and science, there are lots of other content areas as well, right? From 21st century learning and visual and performing arts, health, physical education, world language, technology, all of these curricular areas, the lifeblood of what it is that we do, must not only be maintained, but repaired in a manner that advances what we're doing today. And so that's going to take up a large chunk of our time, and that's why we want to talk more about our 5-year plan down the road. P.S., the referendum, I'm going to throw that in there again. I mean, that's not a one-and-done deal. I mean, that's going to take multiple years to conduct. And last but not least, certainly, is our the town's vision for the Hilltop Project. We're currently working on what that might mean for us. We're working with our architect and civil engineers to evaluate the potential for the expansion of our existing buildings, and we're also certainly talking about redistricting and using the existing facilities we have to accommodate grade levels at different locations. So those are question marks. The future. It's bright, folks. I'm excited. Thank you. Any questions?
Can I ask one?
Of course.
Or two, actually. They're quickies, though. With regard to the virtual high school,
Yes.
do you offer, when a student registers for virtual high school class, do you offer time in their schedule, or is it all done outside of school hours?
Yeah, we offer time in the schedule, usually a study hall, or it may be during lunch. We have a site coordinator that manages the students' time during the
Right.
day.
So there is a time for them to
there
get
is-
in at some point during
Yes.
the day?
You're not allowed to take, you have to have a study hall in your schedule. Part of the problem, what you can't have happen is in this day and age, this competitive day and age, you can't have students taking 9 courses and then taking a 10th course through a virtual high school program. So in order to keep the playing field level, not that we're all that concerned about quantity points, but that does factor in to GPA and class rank. Not that we rank, but it does factor into those figures. We don't allow them to take more than their fair share. So you have to have a slot in your schedule to take a course in virtual high school.
Right, so that would be like a study hall, that would be their time
Would have to
during
be.
school?
Correct.
And just one other quick question. The 0 period SAT prep,
Mm-hmm.
so that it starts in January?
Yes.
Is that for the new SAT administration? The new SAT exam?
Well, we're going to be preparing for the new SAT exam, and it's the timing of it is strategic because, number one, it's 0 period, and no one wants to do 0 period for the full year. So what you do is you're going to take 2 days a week, starting in January, to do math instruction, and 2 days a week to do language arts instruction. And it'll be focused instruction from January to May up until that, usually May 5th, 6th, that week, that first
Saturday in May.
Right. The first Saturday in May is the big SAT date. So that's when you ratchet up your focus and get our kids ready.
For the new exam, right, okay. And that's 2 days a week?
It'll be 2 days a
Before
week
school?
math and then 2 days for language arts.
So it's 4 days.
So it's
a week.
4 days?
It'll be 4 days a week.
Oh,
right.
okay, okay.
And the new SAT format starts in October of next year, right?
No, it starts in, I want to say the new
January?
administration, I have it in my other notes. The
Okay,
new
okay.
administration is, the last one is either December or January. I want to say the new one is, what's the next test, March or May? I want to say it's early, it might be January.
No, I think they do it every month during the school year, not September.
No, it's not every month,
It's not?
SATs, no.
Okay.
And the new administration of the administration of the new SATs is, I want to say it's like January or March for some reason, and that's why for some reason January stuck in my head. So that's why I was just curious because it's early in the year. So that's why I was wondering
I see what you're getting at.
why
yeah.
that
Yeah.
SAT
Why
prep
then?
would
Yeah.
start in January.
Right.
It would make sense for the fall to be preparing them for the new administration, which
Right.
happens in January, or I want to say it's January or
Sure.
March.
Well, I'll be frank with you. You know, we've got flexibility there. I mean, it is a zero-period position, so if we went back to the drawing board and realized that,
The
the
new
test is in
administration
December,
is, it's the 16th. I want to say it's either January or March.
Mm-hmm.
So to start a prep class in January seems a little late. If
It
you
may
want to get
be.
a jump start, the fall kind of makes more sense.
Sure.
But don't
Sure.
more
I
kids
see.
take it in May, though? I mean, May is usually the
That's-
date.
that's
Well,
the
you can have the
historic-
two, right.
But again, I don't know, in terms of the new SAT and what they're encouraging, you wouldn't want to have it too early in the year. The point is this, you have a junior, as a junior, you wouldn't want to take a test in December or January because you still have February, March, April
Yeah, I wanna say
to
it's- I think it's
sort of
March.
glean knowledge. So May is typically the time. You've had a full school year of information.
too.
Where you've developed your portfolio of brain cells. So that's the date. Typically, your seniors would take it in October,
Well, that'll be the
earlier.
last one anyway.
That's
For the old test.
of their senior year. Yeah, right, so. But again, I'm not married, Mr. Mangili and I, we'll certainly look at what
The
you're
timing.
the
Yeah,
timing.
that's all I mean, yeah.
Sure.
Because it's going to be new for everyone across the board, so. something to
And
think
that's
about.
why we're happy to be proctoring the PSAT. I mean, these are the things you do to prepare your kids for these kinds of new.
PSAT will be
Yeah,
the new, for
they'll
the
be
new
ready.
SAT, right?
They'll be ready when it really counts.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Thank you, Mr. Featherman.
You're welcome.
And I'll just remind the public that we have our budget hearing on the 28th, which is our next board meeting. And at that time, the budget will be presented as a whole, and we will open up the floor to public comment regarding the budget at that time.
Right on.
Okay, let's move along on the agenda. From the Office of the Business Administrator and Board Secretary under minutes, may I have a motion for B1 and B2? B1 is a motion to approve the public and executive minutes of March 24th, 2015. And B2 is a motion to approve the Board Secretary certification to the Board of Ed pursuant to the Administrative Code that no line item account has encumbrances and expenditures which exceed the line item appropriation in violation of the code. May I have a motion for those items, please?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Burke?
Yes.
Mrs. Dye?
Yes.
Mrs. Marinelli?
Aye.
And Mr. Sakala?
Yes. Under business, may I have a motion for B3 through B10? And that is B3 is a motion to approve AmeriHealth administrators as Cedar Grove Board of Education's COBRA administrator at the cost set forth therein. B4 is a motion to approve that the terms and the conditions of the Optimum Lightpad Service Agreement be amended to reflect that the Internet Voice Bundle service be upgraded as set forth in that item. B5 is a resolution, which I will summarize without reading the entire thing. It's a resolution that it be resolved that the Board of Ed of Cedar Grove does hereby agree to join / renew membership in the Pooled Insurance Program of New Jersey and hereby accept the bylaws as approved and adopted. The renewal term is from July 1st, 2015 to June 30th, 2017. B6 is a motion to rescind motion B9 from the October 21st, 2014 board agenda to approve the Cedar Grove Junior Women's Club application to use Memorial Middle School gym and cafeteria on Friday, March 20th, 2015 for their annual kids dance. All fees associated for use of the facility have been waived. B7 is a motion to approve the Cedar Grove Junior Women's Club application to use the Memorial Middle School gym and cafeteria on Friday, June 5th, 2015 for that dance. And again, all fees associated for the use have been waived. B7 is a motion to approve the memorandum of understanding made and entered into between the the Office of New Jersey Emergency Management, hereinafter referred to as NJOEM, and the Cedar Grove Board of Education, relating to application for grants under the Federal Emergency Management Agency, Public Assistance, that is in effect from April 1st, 2015 through July 1st, 2016. B9 is a motion to set the price for half pint of milk as set forth therein. And B10 is a motion to approve the annual agreement with School Dude, Inc. for the 2015-2016 school year to provide trouble tracker repair services for the Board of Education. May I have a motion for those items, please?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll
What-
call?
Can I,
Yeah.
what is this trouble tracker repair services?
The work order system, if you happen to have a heating issue or a printer issue, a computer issue, the trouble tracker system records it into the system, and either Jim Walsh or Mary Agata assign the person to come and look at it.
Okay,
You don't like that? It's good.
it's good.
Oh, I have a problem in room 212. I just sent an email. It's wonderful. It's wonderful, right? It's just wonderful. Yeah. It's like, it's wonderful.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Burke?
Yes.
Mrs. Dye?
Yes.
Mrs. Marinelli?
Aye.
And Mr. Sakala?
Yes. From the Office of the Superintendent, under Personnel, may I have a motion for S1 through S5? S5. S1 is a motion to rescind Christy Torsia, MMS English teacher, grade 5, at step C, for the salary as set forth therein, prorated to June 30th, 2015. S2 is a motion to approve Christy Torsia, MMS English teacher, grade 5, at the salary set forth therein, prorated to June 30th, 2015. S3 is a motion to appoint the following staff, or the staff as listed, for summer custodial maintenance work at the rate set forth therein. S4 is a motion to authorize the attendance as set forth in that item. And S5 is a motion to approve the leave of absences as set forth in that item. May I have a motion for those items, please?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Burke?
Yes.
Mrs. Dye?
Yes.
Mrs. Marinelli?
Aye.
And Mr. Sakala?
Yes. Under curriculum, may I have a motion for S6 and S7? S6 is a motion to approve the Go Math Elementary textbook series to be purchased for the amount set forth therein. This textbook series is in alignment with the New Jersey Department of Education core curriculum content requirements. S7 is a motion to approve Nancy Schultz and Associates of Concord Mathematics to provide mathematics professional development training to district elementary school teachers for the cost as set forth in that item. May I have a motion for those two items, please?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Burke?
Yes.
Mrs. Dye?
Yes.
Mrs. Marinelli?
Aye.
And Mr. Sakala?
Yes. Under contracts, may I have a motion for S8 and S9? S8 is a motion to approve the use of facility agreement between the Cedar Grove Board of Education and the YMCA of Montclair to use the middle school for the summer enrichment program for the time set forth in that item. YMCA will provide, keep, and maintain throughout the term of the agreement general casualty and liability insurance. And S9 is a motion to approve the cooperative agreement between Passaic Valley High School and Cedar Grove High School for ice hockey for the 2015-16 and 2016-17 school years. May I have a motion for those items, please?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Burke?
Yes.
Mrs. Dye?
Yes.
Mrs. Marinelli?
Aye.
And Mr. Sakala?
Yes. The meeting is now open to the public for comments for items either on or off the agenda. Seeing none?
Oh, no.
Oh,
Oh,
wait, no,
sorry.
take that back.
Hi, I was here
Welcome.
about a month ago, Nicholas Rizzatello, 184 West Lindsley Road.
Thank you.
And I didn't know when you can speak on or off the agenda. I didn't have the agenda item, so I went on the internet and now I know when. Anyway, when I was here last month, I wanted to mention something I read in the local papers probably a month prior to that, when there was an article stating something that defeated budgets lead to lower test scores. And I just wanted to know how that's related, if the defeated budget brings down test scores.
Well, I mean, I can
Generalize, yeah.
generally, we're lucky that we don't have to worry about defeated budgets anymore under the new system, but it's kind of all tied together with when the budget gets defeated, you need to cut something, because generally traditionally what would happen here in Cedar Grove, the budget would be defeated and it would go to the town council, and the town council would evaluate our budget, and they, although they're very knowledgeable and they're very, well versed on what's going on in their area of the town, they're not here week after week, and they're not really in tune with what's going on with the schools. So they have to go in and they have to cut the budget, and they do it, I don't want to say blindly, but with very little knowledge of what we do here day after day and week after week. So they'll go in and they'll cut the budget in various areas, and some of it might be to curriculum and instruction. And when you're cutting curriculum and instruction, you're cutting the ability to teach the children. And if the children aren't being educated properly, they're not performing well on their test scores. So there's not really a direct answer to your question, I don't think, unless you think it's kind of all tied together with, you defeat the budget, you got to cut something, and if you have to cut teachers, you're cutting the ability to educate the children, and that's what leads to the lower test scores.
So they don't give you a number, they cut where they want to cut?
Again, under the old scheme, we're not really dealing with that at this point because it's not required. What they would do is, what they have done in the past, is they would hire at some cost to the taxpayer an independent evaluator to come in to review our budget and to give them recommendations as to where our budget should be cut. And sometimes they would cut it by hundreds of thousands of dollars. And sometimes there was, I think the last time we had a defeated budget, they only cut it by maybe $20,000 or $30,000. But we have no say in that matter, and we have to go by what they say. So we have an independent person coming in who doesn't know Cedar Grove, doesn't know the district or the way that we do things here, and they come up with some numbers, and the town council usually would go with their recommendation, and we have no choice but to follow that, and we have to cut where they say. If they say cut $100,000 out of curriculum, then we have to cut $100,000 out of curriculum.
I see, but they never will tell you cut, say, staff.
No, they'll cut it.
Classrooms, always the classrooms.
No, what they would do is they would tell us that you have to cut X amount of dollars.
All right.
And they would tell us why. They would give us a reason why. Their independent auditor said that we don't need X amount of dollars to pay teachers. We can do, and I'm making this up because I don't remember the last time where exactly what they said we should cut it from, but we don't need X amount of dollars to pay teachers, so you can get rid of X amount of dollars. But then it would come back to us to actually try to fit that dollar amount and actually make the cuts.
All right. I have a second question that has to do with student athletes. Normally, how many classes would they take at the high school? And is each class like 3 credits? Because I know it's 15 credits, 30 a year, 120, or they do more than 120 a year?
Each class we have is 5 credits, and they take a full schedule. They're required to be full-time students to qualify as student athletes. They must maintain a certain GPA. They have to have passed a certain number of courses the year prior to be eligible for the following year to participate in
All right, the
athletics.
question I have is, what's the minimum grade point average they have to attain?
It's a bit of a moving target. I don't know where it is today. It's based on the number of credits they've earned. And so I don't have that answer. We can talk tomorrow, reach out to my office, and I can find out that information for you.
All right, but it doesn't go by NJSIAA,
Yes, it
which
does.
allows only a D average.
We work hand in glove with the NJSAA's recommendation. Now, schools can decide to make that a more rigorous sort of set of criteria, but we pretty much mirror what the NJSAA requires.
Because they require only a D average.
I would say that commenting with the concept of D averages really doesn't do it justice. It's really more related to the number of credits that the child has earned in the year prior to the year of competition. So I'd be reluctant to slap a D minus on it. It's more based on the number of credits that you've earned than a letter grade like that.
And my last question is something you brought up that reminded me, the Leonard Park School. The previous school that was there, did they ever pay their rent Because I know now they're operating out of the old St. Anthony's in Belleville, same school.
Well, there was a settlement and
Oh, they did.
defer
All
to,
They did. They
folks that were-
paid the amount that was specified.
All right, I was
in the
just wondering, because you brought up Leonard Parks, and I remembered they were operating out of that school. All right, thank you.
you're welcome.
Any further comment? Questions? Okay, this time really hearing none. I'll close that portion of the meeting. We have announcement of our future meetings, April 28th here in the North End Media Center. 7 PM is executive session, 8 PM the regular meeting. That will be our budget hearing, as we've already said. And the following meeting after that will be May 12th here at the North End Media Center, executive session at 7 PM, 8 PM for the regular meeting. May I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved?
Second?
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Burke,
Yes.
Mrs. Dye,
Yes.
Mrs. Marinelli,
Aye.
and Mr. Sakala.
Yes, the meeting is adjourned. Have a good night.